Alright guys, welcome to the Metalocalypse Q&A. Only not a lot of questions here. That's totally fine. Any questions are good questions, so yeah, as always, if I did not answer someone's questions, that usually means that YouTube either marked it as spam or something else happened. So let's get started with Silver Clawed Wolf, whose first question is, Pinkie Pie and Dr. Roxo, how much damage we looking at? A lot. Far as the eye could see, especially if Roxo introduces Pinkie to cocaine, baby, yeah! I can't do Dr. Roxo. Yeah. Favorite song, second question, favorite song from the show? My favorite song from the show, I've got a few. Face Fisted is a lot of fun. The Gears is really good. Bloodlines is awesome. I think Bloodlines, would probably, if I was to name one, Bloodlines would probably be my favorite one, with the Comet song at number 2. Because, dear God, is that, riff towards the end amazing. That's the thing with Death Clock. It's kind of like, it's supposed to be dumb metal. When I say dumb metal, I mean like it's supposed to be like heavy metal. It's almost like Spinal Tap in a way of how the lyrics go down. And it's funny like that, but god damn, there are just some beautiful musical moments in there. And there are some serious songs in there, don't get me wrong, and I love me some Death Clock. But yeah, if I really had to think about it, it'd have to be Bloodlines is my favorite, and the Comet song at number 2. My number 3, Mermaider. Anyway. Thinking of those questions, Silver Clawed Wolf. Moving on now to Alex Inayez, who asks, what are some of your most hilarious things you've seen on the show? I think some of my favorite moments are like when they go hang out with the blues player in Blues Clock. I love that moment, and Pickles just takes off, not Pickles, Toki takes off his shirt and he's ripped, and Nathan has his shirt off and he's just fat, and he looks over and he's like, oh man. What's another one? There's another one where they're playing with a defibrillator, and I think Murderface has a heart attack, and Squizgar and Toki are like, if only we had some defibrillators. Or something like that. There's just too many to count, Anyway. So, second question. Who is your favorite band member? Well, there's Nathan. Nathan's pretty brutal. And then you Zem's got Squizgar, who's always the guitar Zem gods. And then you have Tokis, who's also Zem the guitar stud. No, you Zem not Tokis. And then you got, Pickles, who's, the drummer. Always enjoying drugs and alcohol and, having a good time. I can't do this, I'm sorry. I have subjected you people to enough punishment as it is. So I think real quick, my favorite band character on the show in terms of the band would have to be, if you were to ask me like what was my favorite character on the band, I think my favorite one would have, I think Murderface. It would have to be Murderface because I think the most shit happens to him and more of the hysterical stuff happens to him. Also, going back to favorite hilarious moments, I love that moment when Nathan's like just thinking about, why can't we, don't you ever think about going, back to normal life, just be regular jack-off? And Murderface just goes, and then kill yourself? No, yeah, you could, but no. So Murderface or Nathan? So there you go. Second question. You get a special backstage pass ticket that allows you to hang out with Death Clock for a whole day. What would the experience be like? Brutal. In one word, totally brutal. Think of those questions, Alex. Moving on to RipRec69, who asks, what is your favorite episode? I've got too many to count. A lot of the Season 1 episodes. A lot of Season 1 episodes are just awesome. I love those. I love the episode where they go to the Amazon. I also love the episode where Nathan becomes the governor of Florida. And I'm as bad as he runs it. I sit here thinking, well, it's a lot better than the governor we have right now. Yeah. So, There's another one. Also, Scrambles. Scrambles the Death Dealer. Oh, man. Just to name a few, I think a majority of Season 1, and there are some really good episodes in Season 2 as well. Anyway, moving on now to your your favorite third... you did have a third question. Second question. Oops, sorry. I skipped your second question, went to your third. I'm totally messed up here. So, Whip's next question is, do you own any of the Death Clock albums? No, I don't, but I really like them. I don't, but I've listened to them. I've listened to them all. I think I'll go further into that because I think someone asked me a question on that. Anyway, third question. What is your favorite death scene from the show? I think some of my favorite moments in death scenes in the show is like the first episode during the Duncan Hill's coffee moment. That's some beautiful death scenes right there. The execution scene. What else? What's another good one? I don't know. There's so many death scenes in here that are just so like you have to like ingest it for a minute. You have to like think about it for a minute. It's like, man, that just happened, and I saw it happen, and it was awesome. So, thank you for those questions, Whipwreck. Moving on now to Nicholas Harley, who asks, How screwed over would the world? How screwed would the world be if Death Clock met Lord Beerus? They'd think he's the most brutal thing in existence and do an entire album saga to him. What got you interested in the show? Well, I do enjoy me some heavy metal, and I do enjoy animation. So one day, I was flipping through Adult Swim, and much to my surprise, I caught it by accident, and I fell in love with the show. I just loved how no pun intended, brutal the show was, and I thought it was pretty fun. And I watched more of it, and I just thought, yeah, I want to continue on with this show. Anyway, so third question. If you were to make a movie for Metalocalypse, how would you do it? I don't know, I'm not... I think we already have our movie called The Doomstar Requiem, but, yeah. There would just be tons of death in my movie. Just tons of it. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Nicholas. Moving on now to Shockwave Spider, whose first question is, if you could date or make out with any of the many girls in the series, who would it be and why? A lot of them are just nameless women, and the other ones are complete bitches who die horribly, if I'm not... Well, except, the new producer they have, who's with Nathan, but... I don't know. I guess none of the above, really. Because either they're just there to get laid, they're just there to bang the band, or you don't see them at all. Anyway, second question. If Death Clock ever made an album or song dedicated to a supervillain or villain outside of comics, which ones would you like to see a song about? How about they do a song, or they do an album dedicated, or song dedicated to Megatron, Master Cyclonus, Beerus, to name a few, those would be to name a few. Would you like a Death Clock album made about you? I don't think there's not enough things interesting about me to have an entire album, so maybe not. Thank you for those questions, Shockwave Spider. Moving on now to Dreadman, who asks, do you think Mr. Salisa is Squizgar's dad? I've heard that rumor before, and I'm very much inclined to believe it. I think at this point, it's a possibility, but let's just see what happens. Second question. What is your favorite Death album? The Doomstar Requiem can count. Ooh, okay. This is the question I was talking about earlier. Favorite Death Clock album? Favorite Death album? That's a tough one to answer, honestly. It's kind of tough to answer because I really do enjoy all the Death albums, but if you were to ask me, like, flat out, which I think is probably the best Death album... Well, not best, but my personal favorite. There's the better word for it. My personal favorite of the Death albums. I would have to go with Death Album 2. I think season 2, like Death Album 2, and this goes for season 2. As much as I like season 1 overall, I think season 2 had some good comedy and also some it really got more. I think Brendan Small really sat back and thought, well, I want my songs to be kind of funny, but at the same time, I really want them to be methodic, and that's what it really goes for in that album. Not to say I don't like the other Death albums, they're really good, but if I was to pick a personal favorite of mine, it'd be Death Album 2. Anyway. And your final question is, who is your favorite non-band member? Dr. Roxo and Ophidescent. Because that's my bread and butter. Yeah, I fucked up the line. Shit. That's my bread and butter you're fucking with. There you go. Anyway. Thank you for those questions, Dreadman. Moving on now to Lord Slayer, who asks, which metal musician would you like to see make a cameo on the show? Okay, there's been so many, really. There's been so many people on Metalocalypse. I mean, we've had James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, I think Kirk Hammett also, if I'm not mistaken. We also had the lead singer of Arch Enemy. We had so many. If they haven't already, because I could be forgetting that he has, Rob Halford from Judas Priest. Yeah, definitely Rob Halford. Ozzy. I think Ozzy has been on the show. I don't think so, but I would like to see Ozzy. Corey Taylor from Slipknot. I think that's about it of who I want to see, actually. No, lead singer of Lamb of God. No, I think he was on... Here's the thing, I keep forgetting who's on the show, who's been on the show before. So, if they haven't already, Rob Halford first and foremost. There you go. Alright, thank you for that question. Second question, if the band gains superpowers, what powers would you like to give to each individual member? I think for Nathan, he would have just, a powerful voice like Banshee. Toki can talk to the animals. Squizgar can, fly. Pickles has super strength. And Murderface's ability is that he can piss acid. There you go. Yep. Third question. Do you listen to the band Balsagoth? If not, you probably like it. I haven't heard of them. I'll give them a look-see. Thank you for those and thank you for that recommendation, and thank you for those questions, Lord Slayer. Moving on now to Andre Partridge, whose first question is, what is your favorite music video from the show? Well, Hatred Copter gives me a frickin' seizure, so I can't watch that without, getting dizzy. I think my favorite, it's really hard to say music videos because they're all... I think Mermaider is probably my favorite music video. I just like how that plays out. Anyway, second question. What will happen if Death Clock were to meet up with the Gorillaz in an animated battle of the bands? It would be totally frickin' epic. Yeah. Alright. And your third question is, what are your thoughts on the 1-hour special Metalocalypse The Doomstar Requiem? I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I didn't even know it was coming out until the day before it came out. I was just watching Adult Swim the other night, and they said, new hour-long special of Metalocalypse The Doomstar Requiem. And I was like, holy shit, where was I when they were talking about this? Yeah, I didn't even know this was coming out until, like I said, the day before it came out on that Sunday. And I listened to it, and I was like, God, this is amazing. It was composed by, Brandon Small had a hand in it. Bear McCreary, the musician, the composer of The Walking Dead, had a major hand in it. It was all very well tied together. It really plays off very well. And, god damn, was that guitar battle between Toki and Squizgar amazing. Just absolutely amazing. And... yeah, it just kicks you in the face of how amazing it is. And I've said amazing 6 times now. I need to shut up now. My brain's skipping. Yay. So thank you for those questions, Andre Partridge. Moving on now to Wolfman the Impaler, who asks, Deathclock and Guar do a team-up concert. How brutal is it? How brutal is it? How brutal is it, you ask, Wolfman? You want to ask how brutal it is? Because I'll tell you how brutal